This is a tutorial on how to waterproof desert boots. Really, any suede leather boot. This is a method that I've been using for decades on my desert boots, and it works really well. I'll be using KIWI Camp Dry Heavy Duty Water Repellent. This is just a silicone-based water repellent that you can find anywhere. You can get it at Walmart, you can order it online, you can find it at the surplus store. It's very easy to get this stuff. Now, I recommend applying this above 50 degrees in an area that is not humid. So try not to do it outside unless you're in a dry climate. If it's above 70 degrees, that's even better because the boots will dry faster. They recommend letting them set for 24 to 48 hours before you wear them. I also recommend that you go somewhere that people aren't going to have to smell this, because for some people this smells really bad. To me, it smells like a military supply depot, so I like it, but your wife may not. So I'm here at work today on the weekend spraying these, and Monday morning when I come in, they'll be ready to go. Now right now I'm in our paint booth. It's not necessary to do this in a paint booth, but it works out really well because I can turn on the ventilation when I'm done spraying this, and it'll just vent everything out of the building so it doesn't even stink up the shop area. So if at all possible, if you've got access to a shop after hours or a garage or a shed, like I said, as long as there isn't a humidity issue, that would probably be the best place to apply Camp Dry. So I simply just take my hand and stick it inside of my boot. I have the laces out of it, and this is brand new. I just opened these this morning. So you really want to do this on a new boot, a clean boot. You really don't want to try to do this to older boots because it won't permeate into the leather as well as when it's new. What I like to do is I like to spray it on a little bit heavy everywhere there's a seam, everywhere there's stitching, where the sole meets the leather, any place there's kind of a border on the boot. And then for the larger areas, I just spray that afterward, not as heavy. You can apply 2 coats. I have done that in the past. I haven't seen any improvement in water resistance by applying a second coat, but you can if you want to. You should be able to do a pair of boots with 1 can, but I recommend having 2. This can is half full from the last set of boots that I did, and I might get away with just this, but if I ran out, then I won't be able to finish the job. So it's always good to have a second can on hand when you do this. All right, so getting started, I put my hand back into the boot. I've got my fingers all the way to where the toe is, so the boot is going up my arm. I can spin the boot around pretty much 360 degrees wherever I need it. Taking the cap off of the Camp Dry, just shake it up a little bit, and then just go ahead and apply it. You see it's going to darken it up. It will change the color a little bit, but it's not really that bad. So everywhere there's a stitch, kind of spray it a little bit heavy where the eyelets are and the speed lacers. Spray it inside of the speed lacers and eyelets here at the tongue. That's an area where water can collect if you happen to be walking through a really wet area. If you go over something twice, that's not going to hurt it. Also, at the top, just inside the tongue, all along the top inside of the boot, here where it's padded and reinforced. This boot has some straps sewn into the back, so I'm going to try to kind of hose it in there, put it on a little bit heavy. That's something that's not on every pair of desert boots. Now that I've got all the stitching and seams, I just spray the larger areas. And that's going to overlap some of it, applying it just a little bit heavier where it's going to give that extra protection. That's all there is to it. I was able to apply 1 coat of waterproofing to this pair of boots with less than half a can of Camp Dry, but I would still recommend starting off with 2 cans just in case. You can store this stuff and use it years later when you're ready to waterproof something else. Just make sure you store it indoors. You don't want it to freeze. Now all I have left to do is to turn on the hood to ventilate out the shop area. If I was concerned about a smell at home in a garage or shed or some area like that, I might just ventilate it with a simple box fan. Thanks for watching.